Right. So this shutdown has been very peculiar from a broadcast network standpoint. For the
Hmm.
last three the last three government shutdowns that happened in recent memory that we looked at, they've basically completely unanimously blamed Republicans, or there were scattered moments where they would blame both parties, but quite literally never blamed Democrats. This time it was a little different, I think, because there was simply no way for them, even twisting their logic into pretzels, to really blame Republicans for this or claim that Democrats were innocent. And so instead, they basically obfuscated a lot of the detail around the shutdown. Overall, we found 87% of their coverage favored Democrats, and only 13% favored Republicans. But in that, there was very little mention of, for example, Senate Democrats having voted against a clean continuing resolution. Right, that was practically non-existent in all of the coverage. It was in less than like 20% of their broadcasts. So if you got all of your news from, say, like ABC or CBS or NBC, you probably don't even know how this shutdown really happened, and that's by
Yeah.
design.
Yeah, I mean, a few days ago, the normal security hub where I enter the White House, their X-ray machine was down, so I had to go around to the other side of the White House, and I had to walk through a group of protesters, and a lot of them had these signs up, let them eat cake, referring to Republicans not caring about the government shutdown. And I asked one of
Right.
those protesters, I said, do you know how many times Democrat voted for a CR when Joe Biden was in power? And they said 0. And I said 13 times. They had no idea. And the thing that's so concerning about this bill is these are the people who are politically active. So
Right.
poor generic Democrat Joe Schmo out there doesn't have a prayer if this person who lives in Washington and is getting up and going to protest doesn't know.
Right. And so this kind of creates this weird phenomenon, because you're absolutely right. These are the people that are politically engaged on the left, right? But a lot of these people probably learned the term continuing resolution during this shutdown, right? During this news
Right.
cycle.
Yeah.
Because they don't really pay attention to a lot of the particulars. It's basically all tribal. It's a team sport for them, and that's it. Right. So
Sure.
basically, whenever there is a story that has the Democrats, either it portrays them unfavorably, or there's some kind of Democrat malfeasance, or they're clearly guilty of something. It basically leads to a less informed populace overall, because the result is that the news media obfuscate, they muddy the waters around the story, and by the end, nobody really knows what's going on unless they're already familiar with the topic to begin with, right? Unless you're like a political junkie. And so
Yeah.
it's kind of strange, but an outgrowth is basically every time Democrats misstep or do something wrong, the populace gets a little bit less informed.